Welcome to this presentation on the hero and the overachiever mask, the one who carries everything so they can keep winning. My name is Artemis, founder of Sovereign Training Systems. Let's dive in. You didn't become the hero by accident. You became this way because it got results, and you learned that the more you carried for others, the more you were valued by others. The hero ties his worth to what he does for everyone else. As the hero and the overachiever, you're the one who steps up when others don't. You take on responsibility. You push things forward. You make things happen. You don't wait. You lead. And from the outside, it looks like power. But on the inside, there's a pressure inside that never fully turns off. Underneath your drive, there are beliefs that formed early on. If I stop, everything will fall apart. My worth comes from what I produce. I can rest after I win. If I succeed, I'll be loved. The interesting thing about the hero is that your value is tied to what you produce and what you do. But remember, in the kingdom, your value is in who you are, not what you do. The hero learned to perform, to achieve, to carry more than others. And somewhere along the way, you decided that being exceptional was how you stayed seen. These were not necessarily conscious choices. What first looked like ambition is often adaptation, a pattern that helped you gain control, recognition, and significance in your world. And then the hero eventually became your identity and orientation to life. Origin. There was a time early in your childhood when performance mattered. Maybe you were praised for achievement. Maybe you were looking for praise from your dad to be the person you really wanted to be. Maybe you had to prove yourself to your mom and dad. Maybe life was so chaotic that you had to become stronger to save your family and your loved ones. This was my story. My life was so crazy and chaotic growing up that if I wasn't the hero, I wouldn't have survived. So a hero system adapts and learns that if you can do more, be more, and achieve more, you can secure your place at home and at school. Over time, you then became very capable at saving the day. You learned to take initiative, outwork others, push through resistance, stay focused under pressure, not because you wanted to carry everything, but because you learned you had to. Over time, this became anchored in your psyche and formed your very personality. Over time, your worth was tied to output. You learned that rest must be earned, that slowing down means falling behind. And slowly, this stopped being something you did and became who you are. The reinforcement. Then the world rewarded you. You succeeded in your endeavors. You produced at high outputs. People respected you and people relied on you. And without realizing it, your system learned that achievement equals value. So these patterns didn't just stay. They became part of your ego, self-conscious mind, and your very identity. Now, there are three levels of the self. We live and operate at three primary levels of consciousness. You exist at these three levels: soul, self-conscious mind, and subconscious mind. Now, most people live and create only through their self-conscious mind, operating through their mass, their ego, and their survival patterns. In this way, our choices are shaped by safety, validation, and the need for significance. Remember that you are not your mask. You're just choosing and seeing through this orientation, and waking up to the hero and how it orients to your world is a very, very important part of awakening to sovereign power. Sovereign orientation emerges when your leadership and creativity is aligned with your soul and deeper purpose. The soul is your source of imagination, intuition, and sovereign creativity. Your soul is the power of awareness. The self-conscious mind chooses with clarity, and the subconscious mind powers your creative expression to make it manifest. So think of your subconscious as it allows, the self-conscious chooses, and the soul creates. In the ancient teachings of Hawaii, in the Huna tradition, they would say, seek always alignment of the three levels of yourself, working in perfect harmony for the highest and best good of all life. And cultivating this thing we call sovereign power is alignment of these three levels of yourself, where the hero and the mask and the ego is no longer choosing. You have alignment. The subconscious is the place in you that holds patterns, your body learned early on in life. It runs automatic behaviors. It responds without your thinking. And your subconscious mind is also your autonomic nervous system, and it has a connection to your health. Your subconscious mind is power without direction. Your self-conscious interprets what is happening in your conscious world. It creates meaning and stories around your life, and it justifies your choices as who you are. Your ego and your hero will continue to justify and condition what you're choosing to reinforce its own identity. Your self-conscious mind is direction without power. So whereas your subconscious mind is power without direction, your self-conscious mind is direction without power. And both these two levels should connect and work in harmony. Your soul knows what is true. Your soul holds your sovereign power. It does not need to perform, manage, or prove itself. You are I am as a co-worker with God. With soul orientation and sovereign power, you take command of the field. The mask of the hero sits between your subconscious survival patterns and your self-conscious identity. Your mask becomes automatic, familiar, and invisible. What this means until now is that the mask may have been making a lot of your decisions in life, and the mind has just been justifying them, and your deeper truth has been overridden. The realization is you think you're choosing, but the most of the time you've been reacting. The shift is sovereign power and shifting orientation, and this happens when your soul begins to lead, your mind is in alignment, your body builds some coherence and regenerative power. You are not your mask. Remember this, the mask is not who you are. You are a soul awakening what has been underneath it the entire time. Your current expression. Here's how the hero and the overachiever shows up in your life. Now, the hero looks like overworking even when it's not necessary, taking on more than you should, struggling to slow down, recharge, and rest, and measuring your worth by your output. Remember, your worth is never tied to what you produce. Your hero just thinks it is. Your worth is connected to who you are as a son or daughter of God. Internally, the hero feels like pressure that never fully leaves the body. Always that sense of internal pressure. Difficulty resting without feeling guilty. Man, that sucks your energy. A constant state of responsibility for others. Disconnection from the pure joy of creation. Even when you succeed, it doesn't fully land. So you're silently chasing a future the mask can never attain. At the core, the hero believes if I stop, I lose momentum. And at a deeper level, if I'm not producing, am I still valued? The distortion. This pattern reshapes your reality. So you begin to equate worth with output, rest with weakness, slowing down with falling behind. So instead of living, you begin performing and chasing more output. The hero believes the future will be better when I can produce more, have more, and be more. Instead of sensing your way through life, connected to the kingdom, you begin pushing and pushing and pushing. And slowly you lose access to your true self, which is your soul, your intuition, and your sovereign power. Here's the impact on your health. Now, the way this pattern shows up in your body is adrenal fatigue. You're tired and wired. Tired in the afternoon, wired after 9 p.m. And you have inflammation that you just can't shake in your body. And this is due to the adrenals. The adrenals control corticosteroids, and they control the steroid production in your body that regulates inflammation. So if your adrenals are tired, you're tired and wired, and you're not able to normalize and heal inflammatory processes. With many heroes, there's also heart and chest pressure. There's tension in the heart, tension in the chest. There's nervous system burnout and fatigue where you're resting every night, but you're not feeling like you're rested. In Chinese medicine, the hero is connected to the fire element with heart strain and the water element with kidney strain. Your body begins to push back through fatigue, tension, and loss of clarity. But instead of listening to your body, you just keep pushing harder. And because slowing down or stopping feels unsafe, you just keep pushing the limits. And you might try biohacks and supplements and oxygen and ozone and hydrogen and all this stuff, but it's just not stacking because the hero is in control of your nervous system. You need to recalibrate nervous system and take this hero off of your nervous system. Integration. Here's what the hero looks like when it's fully integrated with sovereign power. The pattern of the hero achiever, overachiever, this pattern built your life. You learned valuable character traits and skills being the hero. Remember, every mask has its virtue, and you take the virtues with you. You just don't let the mask have you anymore. The mask is not the problem. You've just outlived it. The pattern of the hero cannot take you where you truly want to go anyway. It's time to let it go. The goal is not to stop achieving. The goal is to achieve with a deep sense of alignment, coherence, and ease, to lead yourself and lead others without carrying too much responsibility or giving too much to try to prove yourself. You are here to stay creative, in alignment with your vision and zone of genius, while delegating your weaknesses to your team. Fortune follows flow. When performance is no longer your identity, you begin to experience a different kind of power. You act without force. You lead without pressure. You create from clarity instead of compulsion. And for the first time, your success begins to contain alignment, coherence, and greater capacity. Yes, this is possible for you right now. If you're a leader watching this, if you've been the one carrying everything, holding the line, and making it all work for you, your family, your teams, this is the moment that matters. You can make a new choice. Unveiling this mask of the hero and the overachiever is your own rite of passage. It is a sacred time to transform this mask. This is where your true power is awakened, not by removing the hero, but by transforming it. You can learn how to transform the hero from being your identity into the instrument of serving your deepest purpose, from pressure into flow, from proving yourself into taking command of the field, from force into alignment with your soul's inner compass. This is why I created the Sovereign Power Path, because awareness of the mask is not enough. Transformation requires a totally new orientation, identity, and architecture, and how you live your life and how you lead others. We start with neurology, releasing performance-based stress patterns, learning how to regulate your nervous system so recovery and power becomes regenerative, restoring safety so your body doesn't need to push so hard beyond your natural circadian rhythms. We then move to biology, rebuilding your organs and adrenal health to regenerate your nervous system the right way, supporting your digestive fire to absorb more nutrients from all that you eat and drink, and creating a body that can sustain clarity, vitality, and the cultivation of true regenerative power. Then finally, psychology, dissolving the identity patterns tied to performance and approval, reclaiming internal authority and command of the field, learning to transform the mask from being your identity to the instrument of service and serving your deepest purpose. This is not information. This is not another hack. This is not another protocol. This is not about stacking more in your life. This is about shifting your orientation, identity, and architecture of how you live your life and how you lead others. If you've made it this far, you're not here by accident. You're ready to unveil this mask. Explore the Sovereign Power Path. See if this next step is right for you. Tap the link below to learn more. I look forward to seeing you on the other side.